whakarongo ki te tangi a te korimako. Kōrero flowing out the hook of force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā kona whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira whakarongo pi kari kari mai. Hare hare mai, o Taringa hare hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody. Gather up close everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
Taringa ki runga, taringi ki raro. Taringa ki te whaiau ki te o marama o tira. Ki Ako Ararau, rua mano, rua te kauma. Taru! Anei rā tātou kua tae mai tēnā. Ki a paki i tā tātou kaupapa nāna rā tātou whakakotai. Kia ora tātou. Ako Ararau. Kei konei taku hua mauroa, taku brother, kingi tēnā koe i te pōwhiri, kia tae mai a Taringa ki te tautoko i te kaupapa, kātahi ko te kaupapa, whakahihiri ngākau, whakahihiri wairua, it's just whakahihiri every single part of my body since I've been here.
Especially last night, eh?
Especially last night. Nō reira, brother, kei te hua maurua, ko te ngāka oroha tēnei kia koe. E mihi ake ana tēnā koe. O tira, ngā whakarite, te kupu tapu I tuku nai I te atanei, tēnei ka tautoko. Anei mātou, te tīma o Taringa. Taringa ki mua, me Taringa ki muri. I'd like everyone to give a hand for our team in the back that make Taringa happen. Taringa mahara.
Make koreko tautau.
That put up with me, because we do have a plan. And a lot of the time, you know, we do. We have planning sessions. I'll have everybody know. We'll get into that. And we'll have this plan, and yes, probably we're going to talk about this, and then we get there, and then I'm like, nah, I don't want to talk about that. So they make the magic happen. E mihi ana kia koutou hoa. And you know, he wā tōna, me rongo, ahakoa ko tātou, aku hoa. Me rongo hoki koutou I nei mihi I mua I te marea. Ka nui hoki te aroha kia koutou. And we've left the bustling metropolis of Tapu today to come to this little town of Kirikiriroa.
The humble surroundings of...
Yes, the humble surroundings. Nō reira tēnei ka mihi ki a Ngāti Wairere, ki te hau kāinga, ki te tangata whenua o te Papanui. E mihi ake ana, kia ora hui tātou katoa. Yes, and te māngai pāho kōrua ko irirangi te motu, tēnā kōrua.
Tēnā kōrua.
Right!
Right.
Taringa, welcome back!
Tēnā tātou. Good to be here.
Kia mihi ato tātou hoki.
Oh, riere. I was the last minute ringing yesterday morning. Ki mai a prane, kare a kahurangi I te hara mai. Nā po I te noho e me te tuku aku manako kia hiwa I te rangi. Kia hoki mai a kahurangi I te atane, engari anō tēnā uware ake. Engari e mihi ana. Kia tātou, ki tā tātou kaupapa anō hoki. Tēnā tātou.
E mihi ake ana Taria. E pono te kōrero, we had, was mātou ko rangi, ko chei, nā mātou ngā kōrero I wāhi I nanahi. Then we had the launch of te tautoru nui o Matariki. And I thought, man, kaurangi's not coming. And I thought, I'll ask you about to hold it down. Came off the stage, walked up the aisle, and I thought, I need a tohu. And I saw the smiling face of Taria. And, you know, ki te ao Māori, nothing is a coincidence. So, e mihi ake ana kia koe Taria, ki tautoko I te karanga. And you can get into later when we share about, our time in Taringa, how you got involved in Taringa. And we want to thank all of you. Tēnā rā koutou katoa. Those of you ngai Taringa who listen in from the beginning, if you've just jumped in, like Cherie Kora, who sidelined yesterday and said, oh my God, Taringa, I've just started listening to it. If you haven't started listening, e pai ana, we're not going to get feelings. But we do invite you to listen because Taringa is for you. So whakarongo mai, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you. Taringa wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you all. So give yourselves a whaki.
Thank you. Tēnā koutou.
Kia ora. Now, we're going to stick to the schedule. Ka whiua kia koe e tai, e mara. You come from te taumata.
Tēnā koe,
Kia koe tā tātou kiwaha.
Ai, tā tātou kiwaha I tēnei rā, tonu atu. Tonu atu. Immediately. Right now. So, ka tohu ki o koutou tamariki, kia hoki ki te moe. E koro, hoki ki te moe, tonu atu.
Oh.
Get to sleep immediately.
Right.
Ai. Hei te pōnei puta atu koutou tonua, koutou inu. E te hāwini, aku inu, tonu atu. Garçon, my wine, immediately. So tonu atu. Look for the contexts and how you'd like to use that. But he mea māma tēnei, this is an easy one. It's a standalone, so it'd probably sit on the one of the Kiwaha Richter scale in terms of use and proficiency. So you can use it tonu atu. No reira, tēnā koutou. Whakamahia, tonu atu.
Tonu atu.
Tonu atu. I think we need to go down the line then everyone has...
Can we start at that end?
Yeah, because I did the mahi.
Ka timata ki a koe, tonu atu.
Okay. I like what you did there. All right, so when Maya messes up the lounge like she does every day, can I be like, whakapaipai hia te ruma noho, tonu atu?
Kia ora.
Pai.
Nice.
Pēnei nanahi nei, ka heke i te wakarererangi. Me tai ki Ako Ararau, tonu atu.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, ka kuhu mai tētai i te whare and you know, they've got the tau tiamu and you say, you know, and you say, pei, horoia o waiwai, tonu atu. Now actually, I'd probably go, get out. They wouldn't even make, if Ngāhua was there, they wouldn't even make it in the whare. You know?
Ka tūke ki te pau tāpata.
Yeah.
Tonu atu.
Yeah, right. So ki waha pai tērā, tonu atu.
Whakamahi.
Did you pick that up at te taumata?
I may have picked it up at Te Taumata. Cool. So I heard that one at our Te Taumata o Te Taitokerau, kura reo Te Taitokerau, and I thought, yes, that's probably a good one to use. So, tonu atu.
Ka pai, rawe, tēnā koe e tai, e mara. Well, it's quite special i te rānei because we have tari ao. And our kaupapa is, Matariki is going to frame some of our discussion today. Engari, whakaro rāhau, part of Matariki is te huri tau, is to reflect. And even though this is koenei te episode 296,
Something like that.
Yeah.
woo, so we're 4 out from 300, but really, Matariki is our birthday.
Ai.
Because we launched Taringa i te wā o Matariki i ngā pōtangaroa in 2017.
17?
And the Braurangi, he was our first manuhiri.
Ai.
I used to have all these cool sound effects, if you remember.
Yeah,
And
the
it got taken away from me, that machine.
Piana.
I had like, and all these iroe. So, koenei hoke te huri tau o Matariki, o Taringa ko Matariki tonu. But next year we have our 300. So anyway, getting back to huri tau, I thought it would be great if we all had a reflection about your
Te
beginnings.
tīmatanga.
Yeah, te tīmatanga.
I te
Ko te pū,
tinatanga.
ko te more, o te pō. Yeah. I roto ia Taringa. I will go over to you, Taringa.
Yeah, I think he's looking at you.
Yeah. O, ki te hoki aku mahara ki te rawa, I think I'd not long come home out of school and then hunukau ki tā wāhi ka hoki mai ana ki Aotearoa i mahi whai wāhi au ki te wānanga o Aotearoa. In the, I think we're on Rickett Road then I te rawa.
Yeah, te upiro.
Yeah, te piro. And then, yeah, ka kuhu mai a Praone i ona and had his big ideas and big kaupapa. And ka puta te kōrero i aia. I think this is how it goes. Mau koe, mau ahau e whakatika. So I wanted a podcast. And we're like, oh yeah, cool. What's a podcast? Yeah. Ahua hou tonu te podcast i tēnā wā. And I think I might have only been the only kaimahi kōrero Māori pia i tērā wā, i roto i tō mātou tari. So same as yesterday morning, just the ringing. And then whai wahi atu ki te kaupapa. When you said, oh, we have planning days, I think we sat down and we planned out some different kaupapa and then for our podcast, ngā mea tuatahi. And then ka tai atu ki ngā kaupapa, and rēreke katoa ngā kaupapa i ngā mea i whakarite ai e tāua. But yeah, i rawe i tōna tīmatanga.
The first episode, that was the e te whānau one, eh?
Yes.
Yes.
Kia ora i
Taku
te
he.
whānau.
Kia ora e te whānau.
Yeah, mo taku he.
Yeah.
Yeah, first, was it still? Yeah, it was, kupu i mai te timatanga i whakatau koe nā ngā kaupapa e whā ka kōrerohi ai roto i ngā punua pāho. But yeah, I think that's...
Kia ora.
Koina.
Who had to write all the Once Upon a Timers back
I did.
then? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we just like pull anybody in the building and
Yeah.
whoever was in the building, you know, I think people that weren't even a part of the epiro, if they happened to be in the
If they
building,
just walked in,
you're one of the ones
hey.
on the time.
Anei tō te wāhi ki a koe.
Ko tō hipa atu i te rumi i taua wā, ko tō Waimarie, ko tō Mote rānei.
Tika.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, come and read this. And they'll be reading it along, and next minute, they're on the Once Upon a Timer.
Yeah.
Even with the waiata as well.
Yeah, I remember when you would come around the office and like
Yeah,
pull
who's in
us
the
all in
office?
to come and sing a song.
Oh, half of us probably didn't even know the songs either.
No,
and
no,
learned
we
it
didn't. No.
right before we had to record it.
I think if you listen to, those of you that listen to the One Upon a Time and Once Upon a Time, a Maui, me o na tuakana, I think I was Maui.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other Maui has like Maui Taha, Maui Pai, Maui Roto, those were all the graphic designers
Yeah.
that happened to be in the building.
Yeah.
It's like, right, you're in the kōrero.
There was this one of the Once Upon a Timers, I remember we all got pulled in to do some like background sounds, and so we were all like crowded around the one mic going,
It's like those kung fu.
Now paint real fast.
And they're like, go for a walk around the building, come back.
Are they making a joke out of me? They're like, carry on, you're doing great. I'm like, so you better use this. This better not be on the TikTok. Yeah.
Well, pewhia tōti matanga, how...
Oh, ka hoki aku mahara, and nā mōkena hau I tono mai. He said, oh, just come and sit in, and I think I was a poti pairehe. One of the earlier memories I remember. But it wasn't until about like around the 30s, of episode count that I jumped in. And it took a while because you're sitting with someone who, you know, you look up to. And then there's Praone. And then, and so you're trying to like, be cool, bro, be cool, say something profound. Kia ora. And you just listen to yourself, oh, who is saying it's just kia ora? But it's those experiences, you know, you get to start, it's the chemistry building. I think that's what I enjoyed in the relationship that naturally occurred. And getting to talk about whakaaro Māori and having little wānanga, live wānanga, so yous are actually in the wānanga. So while I'm dealing with something, yous are too, you know, those types of things. But that's what I remember enjoying the Once Upon a Timers, because you can be a neg and no one's going to see you. And you don't have to listen to yourself again until you hear yourself. You're like, oh, that's right, that was me. Yeah, but that's what I remember, my earliest memories of the Taringa.
Me koe tuahine?
yeah, I think I've already spoken about this before on Taringa, but yeah, you came in to Te Apiroi one day and you were away.
You were sitting behind the desk, eh?
Oh, I had that little office right
Your
next to the desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said hello, and then you were like, oh, want to come in for a kōrero? And I was like, okay. What do I have to do? I might not say anything, I don't know, but yep, okay. And then, yeah, that's when we had the hardest episode in the world.
That was Quentin.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Maharano. What number was it?
I think it was like 68.
68.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, it mustn't have been that bad because then I'm still here. I must have contributed in some way because here I am.
Well, I appreciate you all. E mihi nui ana I kia koe te katoa I whakai. Because it was a choice. You could have said no. And I would have said, you're not saying no to me.
We've tried.
But yeah, ka nui taku aroha kia koe te katoa. And yeah, you know, Erika, ko koe te reo o te hunga e whakarongo ana.
Aye.
You know, you ask the questions because a lot of the time we might get carried away in our wānanga, and you're very good at pulling us up in a nice way
Yeah, I literally just met someone yesterday who was like, when are you coming back? Because I like missed having that person go, hang on, can we just go back? And I was like, oh, good, because, yeah, I'm glad that helps you in some way.
But I think that's part of the organic success of te kaupapa I roto I te whakeiti. You have different understandings, not to say different types of outlooks towards the kaupapa. And it talks to the, like you said, what the people that are listening to it. So you are the voice of those people, Like ka maharau ki tētahi, te kōrero tawa mo tētahi mea nei, kātahi ka pātai mai. Hea tēnei me te aha? And ko tawa ka ki, actually that's quite a good question there. Erica, let's go. But pulling us up on those things, koina tapu mahara.
Yeah. I was very I te ata nei te wā I ohoi au. Well, actually, before I went to sleep, I was thinking about te rānei and just grateful. So I te kāinga, we have mane manawa, or manawa mane. It's a grateful session we have every Monday. And kei konei a maua karanga tamariki, our nephews are here in the audience listening, and they were a part of our sharing what we're grateful for. So I was reflecting on what I'm grateful for in Taringa in Nepal, and the idea was born out of the whakaaro. I toko ake te whakaaro, ka pēwhia taku tiri, taku toha I ngā mātauranga kua riro I au.
Kia ora. Kia ora.
Ne, so what was a way I could share the knowledge, and that knowledge doesn't belong to one person. We've heard Rangi say that, and we've quoted him. Knowledge isn't knowledge unless you share that knowledge. And I thought, man, how can I share all these things that's going on I roto oku whakaaro? And I saw there was a whole I roto I te pāpāho, I tērā ao. And I thought, well, podcasting wasn't sort of something, I know Shay Milne had a bit of a tutu, and others. So I actually did a bit of research, and I listened to some podcasts, and then I approached Mokena. And he had done some podcasts with, I think it was New Zealand Rugby Union, was it, Mokena? Yep. And then he said to me, bro, just one thing. And I said, what? He goes, you ought to be consistent.
Kia ora.
Yeah, that was the one thing, me au te whakapāho. Ne? I was like, yeah, sweet, I can be consistent. But really, Taringa was based on, was their conversations, he kōrero rero e nei, and you have these, and you may have been privileged to sit with your nannies and koro, and uncles and aunties, you know. I'm very lucky how I was brought up and how I was nurtured in that environment, that I wasn't pushed out of the room when my nannies and kuia and koro, and I was nurtured in that environment. And everything was just a story to me. You know, I saw everything, everyone says, how do you remember things? Well, I see everything as a story. I've always seen it like that. You know, and they're the conversations we have in cars. The wānanga you have, and watch this space, e te iwi. They're the conversations you have in cars. And I thought, man, I want to share that with te ao Māori and te ao. And so Taringa was born. And yeah, Mokena asked, I already had the name, it was Taringa. We've actually got another part, which one day we will get to, which is waha. Engari, koira Taringa. So I'm grateful for you all. I'm grateful for koutou Taringa, te tīma whānui o Taringa. E whakamānawa anau ki te hunga kāri konei. Ki aku kuia. Ku kraua, me te hunga kaua ko tōku iwi anake, engari te ao Māori I whai wāhi atu ai au I roto I ngā tau ka mahu e nei, koe nei taku ngā kau whakamānawa.
Tēnā pū, Paul.
Yep. a little bit of dust going around
Yes,
at the moment.
well, you know, I au e hiki mai nei tāmaki tēnei rā tonu nei. Koina te whakaaro tuatahi toko ake nei I roto I au. And koina te Māori o te whakahaere, this is how random or this is how Māori this happens. And ka hoki aku mahara ke te wharehuia. Pākau mai nei te kōrero I taua atara, ana, ka waia mai nei koe ki au. Hey bro, I got a special request. And hare te me motu I tana kōrero mohi au. We're going to do a special taringa. And that's one of the memories I had. And ka hoki koutou ki te whakarongo ki tērā, ko te kōrero, ko te mihi, e waipuki te ana e te aroha. So, and for me, that sort of encapsulates the wairoa Māori that's shown in taringa. And it was I remember it just being a really sincere time. Because ko tēnei nei, e hihi ana ki te whakaputa I tētai kōrero, e whakarangatira I tō tātou pāpā, te wharehuia. So koina aku mahara tūtahi e.
And yeah, and to grateful too, I koe kōrana mō wharehuia, e mihi ana ki te katoa o ngā manuhiri, ko tae mai I runga I te hiahia. Miki, he manaki I te karanga taringa. Kei konei koe MC Grammar. You're a huge part of the story of taringa. E mihi ake ana ki a koe. Eli, me tō whānau, our live stream up in te kōtiu, ki Kaitaia. And there may be some other manuhiri in the audience that we can't see at the moment. And of course, to all of you, our listeners, say, mihi ake ana ki a koutou, tēnā wiwi tātou katoa. So,
Wait, before we go there.
Okay. See?
No, I just wanted to touch on how, you were talking about being grateful before that for us here, and that we could have said no. But really, I feel like, especially me, I'm grateful to have been given the opportunity by you. And like, you'd actually have to be crazy to say no to miss out on this opportunity. Because, I know I'm here for the ride, and me and Snowy were just saying before how, we're basically just here for the ride and trying to soak up all the knowledge you're willing to pass on. So, grateful for you.
Tautoko ake ana I tēnā. I think I was 17. Ka pātai mai koe, I was like, who wants this rangatahi I runga I tēnei kaupapa ki tō tahe, engari nōku te Waimari e. Anā tō tātou te Waimari e kua puta tēnei kaupapa ki te ao. So mihi ana.
Ai, ka raka piki kato nei aku mihi ki ngā mihi ko mihingia e tai. I have no hesitation in telling people the reason why I commit to this kaupapa is because of you. E te tonu taku kōrero pērā, he ihopu mano a koe kia hau. No reira, ana, ka hoki anō ki tērā kōrero a tāua I te tihima, ko tahi te karanga, kei a koe taku ki taringa. A lot of what I'm fortunate of and the experiences I've been able to experience is because of my association with you. Sometimes not a good association. Tawa. Every akoranga he whiako. But ka reo he hena nei kia penei ngā kōrero eno. Koe rā kōrero.
Tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou. Those of you that know me, if you know me, like really, really know me, one, if I'm in a restaurant, I must see the door. Because I was brought up watching mafia movies. This is pono, ngā hui will vouch for this. So I've got to see the door. So when we go into a restaurant, that's one. Two, I also like zombie movies. Ne? So I'll make sure that my park is somewhere where if there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm able to get out fast. You know? So I've got my plan if there is a zombie apocalypse that starts. And te mea tuatoru is I'm deaf in this ear. So, hence everybody's on this side. When I told tētai wā I te noa I te taho Timoti, moe o kea Timoti, ko Timoti ka retu tēnei. Kei te kōrero mai, ko moe o kea, kei te te whahau. Turi. Anyway, kōrero ana ia, and I said, Papa, ware ia koe. Kei te turi ai, he goes, God! Ko he koe? And I says, well, I whānau pēnei mai ahau? And he goes, well, I he tō mama. So, you know, sometimes if you sit on this side and you haven't tapped me on the shoulder, I'm not going to hear anything you say. And it's not selective, okay? Anyway, the kōrero we got into, we touched on a little bit, and it's about how, and kei te nō kia Matariki. And Matariki's sort of opened up a whole lot of, actually it's shown to me a whole lot of jigsaw pieces we still need. Okay, so Matariki is only one part of it. And through the hui, tēnei hui, e koro nei, all of these sessions have been talking about jigsaw parts, nei pieces, o te ao Māori. And I see Taringa as servicing us in putting some of those pieces together in the wānanga we have, in the conversations we have, when you're listening, doing washing, ironing, in your car, whatever. You know, it invigorates thought. So when I was reflecting on the umukohuko whetū, the mahi that Rangi's done, and the revival of it, and the reclamation really of our part of our identity in terms of atuatanga Māori and our practices, I saw a whole lot of other jigsaw pieces. And that's why we're never going to run out of things to talk about on Taringa. Because I get asked this a lot of time, are you ever going to run out of things to talk about? No. As long as we keep thinking, tātou te ao Māori, we're not going to run out of things to talk about. Same with kiwaha. You know, the kiwaha conversation starters. When I go out I te motu, people, I heard Taringa, or do you know this kiwaha?
Aye.
You know? And when you share the kiwaha and the kōrero. So anyway, thinking about Matariki, I was thinking, right, so we've got this, and it's a hybrid practice. I'll say it here.
Aye.
We recreated it, and we made it, sort of like, sounds like American, we made it ours. Because we took the tūpuna knowing, and some might call it tūpuna DNA, and you feel it in your ngākau when it's right. Ne? Tātou mā, ne? So, you know, if you look at the ahi wasn't the only, and you know, there's something when you light a fire. Ko te wairua ne, and I constantly think of my kuia taku tupuna, I aia e momi ana e tana hikereti, and she would just stare at the fire. And I would hear her talking. And she was talking to the people that are gone. Ne, but she'll be talking to the fire. Ne, and I'll be listening to her. Fire does that. And then, so we've got the fire in relation to our umukohuko whetū. Now, if we do some rangahau, you'll see, now we've also have a fire, so, you know, nōku te waimare ahau I tono ahau e te puaheiri, māku tana tamaiti e tohi. Ne? And the ahi tapu is a part of that practice. It also has its name. I te atane e kōrero ana aku hoa mo te tāmoko. Ne? There's a practice of ahi in the application of tāmoko, and ngā hui is tupuna, and her mum's here too, ngā kau. Some of our kaumātua shared what he would do with the ahi in his preparation to tāmoko. So we had an ahi for that. When ka whānau mai te tamaiti, there was a fire. Ne? So that's one part of the jigsaw puzzle. And then you look at ngā whetū. So we've got ururangi. Okay, it's the wind. Well, what sort of winds? Ne?
Yeah.
Hea hanga hau. In Hawaii, they've got like hundreds of names for the winds. We've got a couple. I te taitokera, you've got te kōtiu, koutou o ngai tūhoi, you've got te uru kārairai, te hau ōkiwa, and what's the third one? Ōkiwa's at Ruatoki, uru kārairai. Tūmata whiro, you're here, what's the other one? Anyway. So you've got the winds, and then the same with the rain. You got a rain coming straight down, you got te ua titi pārera, te ua kua patapata, ua tātariki, you know. So there's all these jigsaw puzzles. Every time we, I'd say, unlock mātauranga Māori, and it's new, old knowledge.
Kia ora.
Ka pai? It's new, old knowledge. Ki au, e harai te mea kua ngaro, e rā mātauranga, it's just waiting for the right time for us to uncover that knowledge. Anyway, what I want to talk about is tapu.
Kia ora.
Ne? And I just want you all to have a little kōrero in the audience. I'm going to give you 1 minute with the person next to you. What is your experience of tapu? And we can have our little kōrero with ourselves. What's your experience of tapu since you were little? Do you know what tapu is? Do you have tapu in your life today? I'll give you 1 minute, go. Have a little wānanga. I'll have a drink. So, it was really cool to hear everybody having a bit of a kōwete wete, ne? So, he ori te kōwete wete ki te kōrero. Engari, ko te kōwete wete, there's a bit of, or inquiry in there as well.
Yeah.
And you could be sort of sussing each other's kōrero out. There's sort of like a whakawhiti whakaaro. Ne? So, I rongo pai au I ngā kōwete wete e haere ana. So, you know, what was your fellas kōwete wete? You might have had an internal kōwete wete.
Te tupuhi. Te pakikoki.
Well, I'll go first because I feel like mine will be super basic. So, yeah, my experience with tapu growing up was probably just hearing, like, you know, when I was in situations at the marae and that, all the older people going, don't do that, that's tapu. Don't go over there, that's tapu. And not knowing why, what they were even talking about. And then now as I'm older, I know that some of it's not actually tapu, it's just common sense. Yeah.
And now they see people like, girl, take my photo.
Yeah.
Take my photo.
Pretty much. Now they got me doing tapu things.
Yeah, hua pēnei au kia Erika. Like the kawe noho ki runga I te tepu. That's tapu. Me e rāhuatanga. And ko te kore hoki mōhio he hai pērā ai. Ia mātou I te kura, I te kāinga. But yeah, he kupu I karawhiu anō I hotia. Engari kaore kare au I tino mōhio hea te ito o tēnā. Yeah.
I tātou mohe ana ki tēnei āho o te tapu hungari ki te whakakupu I rā mōhioranga he rereke. Ka kotahi tunu atu ki te tinana.
You're definitely winning.
Whakaaro ki te tinana. I think it's a good place to start for any of us that are just coming to understand tapu. The other thing I like what you've mentioned in previous episodes, Ehua, is it's not black and white. Some of them can and others can't be, or you know, it's so you can't write a manual and go, this is the manual of tapu. Because ka rereke. So ko tahi atu whakaaro ki te tinana.
Kia ora. While Erika was talking, he sort of connected with what she was saying. Is that how you were brought up? So if you didn't know what tapu was. Hey, but I rongo I ngā kaumātua e kōrana mo te tapu. I'm looking at my nephews over here, and at that age, I know that we were talking about tapu, but we didn't know what it was. You know, we say, oh, you're going to get tapu?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tapu.
Tapu.
Yeah, tapu.
Tapu.
And it's actually koine I te koene te kōrero, I kawea hāretia e au I te kurereo I tērā wiki, koutou I tai mai ki te kurereo o Raukawa. And I've been on a bit of a tapu buzz. And if you talk about tapu, you have to talk about noa and understand noa. You know, recently, Nahui and I travelled to, privileged to travel with Te Papa, Karanga o Te Rua, and repatriate over 90 tūpuna and karapuna, so both tūpuna Māori and karapuna Moriori, from across 7 museums in Germany. Ka rongo koe te tapu. So there's different types of tapu. There's the tapu of restriction, and I always talk about Auntie Pera, saying, he tapu tēnā, kawe hau tutu. That's a different tapu. That's saying, no, that belongs to me, you put a restriction on it. Then there's the intrinsic tapu, or the tapu take. When we were in Tiamana, we saw how beautiful tapu or our understanding of tapu and noa is, and how it keeps us safe. Because Nahui and I, and our party actually, were able to leave it in that space and move on. Ne? And leave our tangi there, so we'd have our tangi, ngā karanga, ngā karakia mera, we'd meet the tūpuna, I tūtaki mātou ki a ngai hore titi mā, ki a ngai hore tātā mā. Ne? I ki te mātou, I nā toimoko, I nā upoko tuhi. I requested that one of the museums we went to, that they had held 3 toimoko. Ka pai? Previously called moko mokai. And I like Derek's word, upoko tuhi. And I asked for them to be opened. Ne? Now, some of you may have seen pictures of upoko tuhi or moko mokai. And the reason why I asked for those boxes to be open, it wasn't so we could see them. It was so they could hear us and they could see us. Ne? And I believe that. They were taken in 1820. Koe nā te ao o te tapu. Koe rā te mātotorutanga o te tapu, ko e rā tau, o 1820. And when we saw them, I tangi mātou, I rere ngā karanga, I rere ngā karakia, and I rongo mātou I te wehi. Koe rā te tapu o tua whakarere. That's a tapu that really is self-explanatory, because it's te ao wairua that's speaking to you. You don't need somebody to say, well, I think you're feeling like this because of this. I think it's because you're looking at these 3 ancestors that are from a time they lived and breathed tapu. But when we finished our mahi, we were able to leave all of that in that space, go for our kai, ko puta ki te whaio ki te ao marama, and some of our hosts, and they were wonderful, they were still very toimaha. Ne? So they actually hadn't come out of that tapu. And I think we might have looked a bit bipolar to them.
That was me. Well, that was me. Cup of tea.
I'm sorry. Maybe that's the wrong expression. I don't want to offend anybody.
Well, how I pēnei ai koutou? You know, can you explain the distinction you might have made to go from that to that? I mean, you know,
it's kua tātou tikanga.
Yeah.
Kua tātou tikanga. And this is where I'm getting back to Matariki. Matariki and our practices consolidates our belief in our tikanga to govern and help us live. Koe rā te tikanga Māori. And I runga I te tikanga Māori ko te tapu. Ko te kaiwhakaui o tātou whakaro ki a tātou tikanga ko te tapu. And this is why I believe some of our and you know, kei konei taku rua anuku, nāna te kōrero, ka takahia, ka whakamoia rānei ētahi tikanga, kia ora ētahi. And ne pai tērā, but you need to know. You need to know. Because we've sort of put some of those tapu to rest, I think, e nōku e nei whakaaro, I think we don't, a lot of us don't have that wehi, and the wehi I'm talking about isn't to be afraid, it's rather to be respectful. Because people don't kare rongo I tētai utu because ko tapu te kaiwhiu I ona wā. And I like what Hirini and e harai au tēnei kōrero, nā tohunga nā Hirini mi tēnei kōrero I tētai hui, we were in whakatāne. And he said, beautiful, he said, ko te tapu te pirihi mana kare ki te a.
Ai tēnā.
Ne? So we all believe in this policeman we can't see. That's why we were like, when we know you're going to get tapu.
Yeah.
You're going to get handcuffed and taken to the hinaki. Ne? So it's this whakapono. So those were the measures. Koira te tukanga I whai ara e māua e mātou, and we could see. And we see it in all our tikanga. If you look hard, you'll see kei reira tātou tikanga ki te ara taki a tātou. You know, how we move through tangihanga is a beautiful process. He taonga tuku iho te tangihanga. And I feel sorry for people that haven't been brought up with tangihanga. And, you know, when we going back to tiamana, kāre he rarere kia mātou, even though these koi were over 200, 300 years old, it was just like e haere ana mātou ki te tuku aroha. Because we're brought up like that. But all of those points in the tangihanga, they provide closure and levels and guidance, and they keep us safe. So coming back to Matariki, me te umukohukohu whetū, me ngā karakia, me te ahi, and the taiao. I don't even know if this is a word, but it's kei te whakatapu, kei te whakanoho ki te reo Māori, kei te whakatapu anō I o tātou whakaaro ki tō tātou ao Māori. And that is something that collectively, myself, Rangi and others wanted to bring back because many people had been celebrating Matariki, but the tapu was missing.
Kia ora.
Koira te wā I ngaro ai, I roto I ngā mahi. Ne? We were doing our best. And what Rangi and others, me, Taringa has been a huge part of that, has provided some guidance. Ne? Engari he hoa te tapu. And I think we've done an episode on the demystification of tapu. But I think we're now tamariki because I haven't heard that in a long time. I haven't heard tamariki e ata kōrero ana I wainganui a rata, you're going to get tapu, that's tapu. I think that's a signal. Kia tātou o tēnei whakareanga, tēnā whakahokia mai e rā whakaakoranga ki roto I te, and make it digestible and contextualize it ki ngā uri whakatupu because ki au, he oranga kei reira. I'm going to say this. I nānei, ko te mea nui, ko te aroha. Ne? Engari ki au, I nā oamua ko te mea nui, ko te tapu.
Kia ora.
How I engage with you respectfully is because I acknowledge your tapu.
Kia ora.
Part and parcel of your tapu is your mana and your mauri. Ne? So it's another perspective using mātauranga Māori to look at, and even how we apply tapu. So, you know, at the moment, what's tapu for me is McDonald's, Burger King, bread, potatoes. Puno. You know, I went 2 months without bread and spuds.
Nice.
And on Monday night we had burger and chips nights. But because I made it, I put that restriction on it, and I operated from a whakaaro Māori, and you know, fellas might want to try this. It may or may not work. But I te mei, whakatapu hi o ku whakaaro, and nā huina is at home, you know, I got a space where I do my tapu things. I te mei, whakatapu hi o ku whakaaro, no, kaui te kai tērā, I mau pūmau au ki tērā. So I think that's another way, you know, where we can use tapu, or where tapu can be applied. I shouldn't say use. I tēnei au huri ne. Yeah. And I think Matariki is a big part of that, the revival of tapu I roto I tēnei au huri. Yeah. Pepe o koe te whakaaro.
Mō taua kōrero rā, e hoki aku mahara e tehi tau ki muri I a koe I te e whakatiki ana. I tito I a koe te tehi karakia. mo te whakauwi o whakaro ki te whakatiki me te ahara. Koe rā te tehi o au tikanga ki te tiaki a koe anō i roto i era mahi. Ko te tito ko te ahara.
Ana.
Aia.
Ai. E ko te taki i te karaki ane, mā te kupu o whakaro e whakau, e whakatinana ai koe i tāu e hihia nei. Yeah.
Just quickly on that, that example is, it's a daily thing that some of us, wrestle with, but e ki te ke ana i te mātauranga Māori e arahi ana i tērā mahi. And what that is, and the way it occurs to me, when you're talking about the way we make things, tapu is actually quite like a reverence, a reverence to something, and it's via your whakaro and your subscription to tēnei mea te mātauranga Māori. That's where the driving force of tapu begins. That's why you can make things scary for people. Well, this is a misuse of it, but then there's also times where you can use it in a way which is what you've talked about. Ki te pai anau, ki tau e kōrero nei, mo te whakatapu nei i etahi, i ngā whakaro, pai tērā kōrero, whakatapu nei i ngā whakaro. What that is in English, iaua, he tapu tērā. Yeah. But yeah, kei reira katoa e whakaro ana. And e tika tau, ko te tapu tētahi me e hangaro ana. And I'm just realizing that now. When we want things to be inclusive, but me au tonu nei te tapu, we can still have inclusion. But I think that there's times where tapu should be unapologetic. E ko tātou e huri ana i te tapu. Kaue e whakaneke nei te tapu, kia haumai ai te katoa. E whakaro ana tātou ki tērā. Pēnei e nei mahi nei o Matariki. I think it's brilliant that it's become present in the New Zealand consciousness. Hona ko tā tātou nei, he mauera, he whakatapu tātou i o tātou whakaro Māori nei. Kia umai ai ki te whakaro, ki te iho matua, o Aotearoa iu te iwi Māori. Ai, koina ko whakaro.
Kia ora.
I'm still stuck on the toy moko bit.
Hey, it wasn't so long ago, I was still stuck on the zombies part. So, ki te kore koe rongo i te zombie, tērā taha, kā koe?
I tēnei tā, that's why I keep looking over here. Keep going like that. That's my blind spot. Yeah. Now who's got me? She's over there.
The car ready? So you know how you guys asked to have 3 of them uncovered or opened up. Do you think you would have felt the same level of tapu and wehi had they not been uncovered?
No.
Yeah.
And even i au i pātai ai ki a te here kieke, i mui taku pātai i wānangau. Ko taku wairua pāki ki tēnei, e hihia nei te kite i nā koraua nei. Ko te tikanga Māori rānei tēnei. Kā te whakaaro kao, ko te tikanga Māori tēnei. I rereke i nā kōiwi, tūpuna, he tūpuna tonu, engari ko ngā kanuhi tonu e nei, ko te upoko tēnei. Nō reira, i rongo au i a rātou, e mena kao, me kite mai rātou i a mātou. It wasn't so much that we got to see them, but they got to see us. Yeah.
And he quick check tērā ne, that was a quick vetting tō pātai ki a koe anō. Like, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Something it's easy to forget, but to always question, okay, what am I doing this? Ka hoki ki, ki te take mahi ana i koe i tētahi mahi. Kei taka ki te he.
Te moko ai, what had those been on display at the museum?
Or
Were they private?
I Mura.
Okay, so they're just...
Yeah.
Okay.
Engari koa, koa puta te tohu. Kei te muhiama, te tikanga, mea ia ka whakai. Ki te... And the reason, I'm going to tell you all, because I said this at one of our panel discussions, I would not call those places whare pupuru taonga.
Kia ora.
Okay.
I would not give them the right to to say that because I didn't give them the right to hold on to those taonga.
So, whare whanako taonga.
It's a thief's.
E ka kōra whare here I te papa, you know, but I didn't give them the right to hold on to my taonga.
A thief's sack.
Yeah, so I want, yeah. And you know, if you look at te take mai o tērā kupu o te museum, no ngā koutou e mohana ki ngā kōrero kiriki, if you look at Greek mythology, you have the muses, they're entertainment. It's entertainment. You got music, amusement, you know, e rā kupu. And it was for entertainment. So Western peoples, cultures could look at the curiosities of the world for their entertainment because they weren't able to travel. So I'm like, nah, I'm not going to call it a whare pupuru taonga, I'm going to call it a muhiama.
Muhiama.
Yeah. But nōku e rā whakaaro. Yeah.
E whakaaro ki ana kia tuku te wā ki o tātou huako taimai nei, kia tuku mai etahi pātai, mena he kōrero anō.
Yeah, ka pai.
Ka pai tēnā.
An invitation to ask us some questions.
Patapatai.
Patapatai.
Reflection time in the history of Taringa. Is there any episode or kaupapa that really jumps to the forefront of your whakaaro that challenged each other's whakaaro?
Great pātai. I puta mai tētahi, hea tētai kaupapa i wero i o ake whakaaro.
Oh, yeah.
I think an episode that like we all came out of buzzing about was that Tiriti o Waitangi one with Dale Takitimi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember after that, well, I was just grateful that because I organised her to come on, so I was like, thank goodness she was a good one. Yeah, and then, but we were all just like, afterwards, like buzzing, like had all these new thoughts and I don't know, felt a bit of like reinvigorated and I'm going to go spread my mana motuhake everywhere type of feeling. So that was a cool one for me.
Off the top of my head, I can't. To be honest, I don't like listening to the ones I'm on because
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I like listening
I hear
to
it, I'm
you're
like,
oh, good God.
But yeah, tērā mea I whakarongo atu ki te Tiriti o Waitangi I rawe. And then just I think a few of the, not challenging, but grateful to be a part of the iwi o te wiki and getting to talk to the likes of Kahu and Kauropata. Yeah, there's heaps of kai kōrero.
Recently, for me, ko te mea Hoturoa. If you listen to Hoturoa's one, it's about our waka traditions.
Aye.
So, koutou kare no ke whakarongo ki tērā, listen to that one. Because it challenged, we sort of had a kōrero before that in Kawhia a couple of years ago. But after we had that kōrero, I thought, man, I've got to look at a whole lot of other kōrero tuku iho and apply that sort of same methodology in practical thinking pretty much. Like, really? Did they really do that? So that challenged my thinking, definitely. Te noho tahi a Hoturoa. When you're sitting with a practitioner as well, you know, kei te woki e I te toki. You know, he's a tohunga. When you get someone of that caliber, and then he's saying, wait on, I think we need to rethink some of these kōrero tukuio and kōrero atua. Yeah, so that definitely challenged my whakaaro.
I think it's something that we've been really careful and mindful of the way that we steer our conversation, and it's about kōrero, non-binary, e rā whakaaro katoa. Hei te mea ka tuki, but we always land on the whakaaro that we can't speak for that community, that whānau, and to ask someone to come on as a guest, I've concluded that that person will be only speaking on their behalf. So that's one kōrero. However, I know there's a big desire for the Māori lens to be applied to that. But it's finding the right people, having the right kōrero, so it's still open. Yeah, I think that's the first one that came to mind.
What I love is going out on a party te ao Māori and someone's listening to a taringa and they pull me up. I love that.
Yeah.
Because ko te ao Māori tērā. You know, or not pulled me up, they go, hey, you know, such and such, one of your manihiri talked about this, but he or she left out this part. And that's been a kūaha to have a conversation with that person. You know, we've had a bit of a kōrero. So, yeah, that's sort of on the reverse to our listeners as well.
But what's something, I misheard your pātai hua, but was there any time, can you remember any time where we were indifferent? You know, does it all...
Well, you wouldn't be on the show if that happened.
That's what I think too.
Nah, I don't think so. I can't, you know, he wāte ana mātou ki te tuku o mātou whakaro. I've never felt that, you know, I hinga pērā tētai, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're on a confirmed opinion basis.
Yeah, and you know, ki te Māori, conflict is healthy.
Yeah.
Hey, to have a good conversation.
Healthy conflict is healthy.
Yes, you know, have a good conversation.
I corrected him.
Yes. Yes.
Gotta say, I'm challenged every episode.
Yeah. Challenged every episode.
Rod is always putting me on this button, man. Yeah, I'm just challenged by all these new whakaro, all the new stuff that I learn, and you guys get to hear it.
Cool.
Oh, well, here's another challenge. E pātai anō.
Yeah.
Tēnā koe whai.
Tēnā koutou, nui rawa ngā mihi kia ki nai Taringa o koutou koha, o koutou taonga I koha atu mātou te Aotearoa, te Turoa, hoki.
Tēnā koe.
Nui rawa tanahi. My question is, you talked earlier about putting together puzzles for te ao Māori. Is there any part of the puzzle that's missing at the top of your checklist? What would that piece be?
You're the one with the puzzle kōrero, that's your question.
We actually hired that person for that actual kōrero. Tēnā koe te whai tō pātai mai. Tēnei.
Well, I tēnei wānei, you know, kei konei taku wahine, she's been listening to me talking about Tapu for about a month now. Ki au, koira tētahi wāhanga kei te ngaro. Ne? Our understanding of it and our perception of it. And our application of Tapu and our belief in Tapu and our existence in Tapu. And the reason, and tēnā koe mihi mai nei kia mātou, and for instance, tētai wānanga I reirau, ka mihi au kia Ngāti Hine, nāna tētahi hui I whakakao. A miki, e mahi anau etahi mahi mā te traipūnara, and we're doing an inquiry into tikanga Māori, or lack of in the justice system. Anyway, we were at Otiria, and that's beautiful, ka tū tētai kuia, and she just hit the nail on the head, and this is when this jigsaw puzzle showed itself to me. And she said, and I'll get Te Puaheri to translate this into English. Ko tana kōrero, because we said, why do people do these things to each other? And why do we not look after each other? And, you know, why have we gone this way? Where's this collective consciousness that we had? And koe rā no tētahi āhuatanga o te tikanga Māori is collective consciousness. And ka me te ka tū tētai koe, and she gave a beautiful answer. She said, ki te kore te tangata e mōhio ki tōna anō tapu, me pewhi ia e mōhio ki te tiaki I te tapu o tētahi atu.
Kia ora.
Beauty, eh? Beauty.
Yeah.
I could have pinched that and said I made that up. No. Nā te kuia tērā kora. When she said that, I thought, koe rā tētahi o. So for me, koe nā tētahi o ngā jigsaw puzzles I tēnei wā, e titiro anau. Because we grapple with it. Even aku pauako. Mātou. E tātou te ao Māori. You know, and I've learned about the intrinsic tapu and the teeth that have been taken e rā kōrero katoa. So ki au, koe rā, that's my jigsaw piece at the moment. Ki te kore te tangata e mōhio ki tō nāno tapu, ne, me pewhia ia e tiaki I te tapu o tētahi atu.
If one has no understanding of their own sanctity, how can they look at the sanctity of another?
Yeah.
Sanctity?
Sanctity.
Yeah.
Nah.
Ka pai. And even that word, and e miha nei ki tō Pākehātanga, even the word sanctity, when I hear sanctity, I think one thing. Whereas when I hear tapu, I think a whole lot of things. Much like all the discussions you had here. Everybody would have, in each row, in each corridor, would have said something different. That's all was in tapu. And koe rā te rereke, because tapu is not only sanctity.
Kia ora.
Ne? Koe nā tētai o ngā aho, o te tapu aho nui, ne?
Koe rā te tapu o taua kōrero, o taua kupu.
Yeah.
Rereke te tapu o te sanctity.
Yeah. And I had to test, and that kupu was taken from us and our cousins from across te moana nui a Kiwa and bastardized and called Tapu.
Kia ora.
I ngaro te tapu o te kupu. Yeah. Anyway, that's my jigsaw piece.
Ka mātua I tēnā.
That was a classic Taringa line.
Yes. Yeah.
One jigsaw piece I'll quickly, it's at the top of my mind, is te ako te reo. Not just learning te reo Māori, but going through layers that have our whānau permit themselves, forgive themselves, and allow themselves to learn te reo Māori. If it was that easy, kare he take mo tēnei hui.
Tika.
Kua, you know, we would make it in cans and sell it. But that's one, you know, but that's one part that it's probably, it's always something that reoccurs with me, because, you know, noha nau ki tētahi whānau, tātou katoa, e tahi o tātou whānau, e pērā ana. So that's one jigsaw piece that, you know, you get a piece, you get the corners, yeah, me. And then there's this part that's like a shade of this and that. And it's like, oh, yep, where does that go? What parts need to fit with it for it to fit in the big picture? So, yeah, how our whānau, how do I frame that? Well, if it's recorded, you can play it again. Yeah. But, you know, layers, you know, our people we have layers. We have layers and we go through it every day. Some of our people, it's we call it, you know, symptoms of trauma. You know, ka hohonu ake I tērā hoino. It's those parts, you know, how can we, once again, forgive ourselves, permit ourselves, and then allow ourselves to go through learning our language. Because, you know, ko te mea te whakamate mea nui, you know, it could have been from the way we were schooled. If you get it wrong, oh man, may you burn in hell. You know, little things, or maybe you be cast aside by your own peers. All those things, self-preservation.
Yeah.
You know, we go through things of self-preservation. That's why 2x alpha sitting, you know, and X alpha standing, 10 up. You know, self-preservation. So, but then there are bigger things of that. You know, that we're always looking at ourselves and judging ourselves, oh, was that right? All those things. So that's one piece for me. That's a piece.
So how I can connect my jigsaw puzzle and the mentality and psychology of somebody who has, it's a self-infliction of tapu.
Kia ora.
So now they've actually made it tapu for them to learn te reo because they had this experience. Ne? But if they had the tools to learn into a space of noa, ne, and leave that in that space, respect for what happened, then perhaps maybe they could move on. So that's where I can see how tapu and noa can be applied. And it's a new way of thinking about tapu and noa, instead of just washing your hands. Hey, not just washing your hands, but that may be our only whakaro of what whakanoa is.
Aye.
Yeah, and we'll say whakanoa for the next episode.
Yeah. But I just want to quickly say, when you were saying that, ka hoki aku whakaro, kia koutou e tangi ana, I ngā tupuna, tangi, ka mutu kaunei ngā te tangi, ngā mihi, ngā poroporo aki, ka whakawhiti.
Yeah.
You know, that was a visual for me just then. You were saying that you can leave it there, acknowledge it, tangi, leave it there, puta mai ki te ao marama. Easier said than done, but I need pia koera te whakaro.
Yeah. Ka pai. Well, tēnā tātou katoa e te iwi e te whānau. We're going to launch into our waiata o te wiki. We're coming up to time. And we're going to ask everybody ki te tautoko mai a mātou. We're going to finish with whakarongo, composed by Ngoi Pewhairangi. Here, and I know we haven't done a live whakarongo though, and was actually composed at a hui, I think it was a hui kohanga reo, at Tūranga Waiwai. Yeah. And because Noi was the big noise in the group that composed it, nōna te ingoa ka maharatia, nō reira ka mihi kia Ngoi, ana kia tū tātou ki te waiata whakarongo. Tario can start us?
Yeah. Oh, God.
He kupu!
He kupu tuku iho mo tēnei rea mai. Whakarongo ki te reo Māori e karanga nei.
Te taringa!
Whakarongo ki ngā kora maranga tira. Nā te atua ki tuku iho kia tātou e. Pupurita, orerota, moa te tonu. Tirohia, mati kamata, muanga tipuna.
Papaia!
Papohia, kei oranga makau, tau e. Tua ki te ao, tua ki te rangi, tua ki ngā iwi katoa. Tau waramana, e tuku ae, kia memeha e. Whakarongo ki te reo Māori e karanga nei. Whakarongo ki ngā kora maranga tira. Tēnā ka kurea reo ngora e. E kupu tuku iho mo tēnei rea mai. E kupu tuku iho mo tēnei rea
Tēnā rā koutou tātou katoa.
Big whakarongo beat, kari kari. Get the rope close, everybody, buddy. Taringa, taringa, taringa. Yeah, tahuri mai ki yo. Whakarongo ki te tangi a te korimako. Korero flowing out the hook of force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds. Kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā kona whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira. Whakarongo beat, kari kari mai. Hare hare mai, o taringa, hare hare mai. We gotta gather up close, everybody. Gather up close, everybody. Kani kani move that body. Kani kani move that body.
Taringa, he mea tuku nā te wānanga o Aotearoa, ā, nā te māngai pāho me irirangi te motu I tautoko. To listen to more episodes, search for us on your podcast app and subscribe, or follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Taringa, whakarongo mai.